Hello, and welcome to episode 31 of Mishmash Mayhem.
Mishmash Mayhem.
The podcast where we take the schoolyard conversation of, hey, which one of these fictional characters would win in a fight, and we talk about it on a podcast.
That's what this is.
Yes, I'm in the right place.
Congratulations, you made it to the correct place. I mean, technically, this isn't a podcast yet. Like, at the minute, while we're talking, it isn't a podcast, is it?
It's a recording of a podcast.
Well, no, we're not even... This isn't even a recording of a podcast while we're talking. While we're talking, it's just us talking and being recorded. It's not really a podcast until it's released publicly available to the internet, is it? Because, if we were live streaming this, then it would be a podcast. But I don't really... Yeah, a digital audio file made available on the internet for downloading to a computer or mobile device. Typically available as a series, blah, 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 blah. But, I mean... At the minute, there is no digital audio file available to the internet, so at the minute, technically, this isn't a podcast. But it will be by the time you hear it.
God, I hate you.
Why? Why? That's so mean. I'm amazed it's taken me 30 episodes to point that out.
I'm amazed more people don't slap you.
Well, they can't at the minute.
Well.
Also, a lot of my other friends have the same kind of pedanticism ingrained into them.
I see.
It makes for most of us just kind of going at each other a lot. And then when someone else does the kind of comment that someone else would have done, and then they complain, we're like, you can't complain at that comment. You would have made that comment.
Fair enough.
Anyway, what are we doing? How's things?
Things are going pretty well. Yeah, how are things with you? Going well?
Not too shabs, yeah. Just moseying along, doing a fat lot of nothing and everything.
It's good to do both nothing and everything.
It is good to do both nothing and everything. If you only did everything, you would die. And if you only did nothing, you would die. So a healthy dose is how you don't die until you die.
Absolutely.
That's right, kids. Don't do everything, don't do nothing until you die. And try not to die.
Yeah, try not to die.
I mean, I appreciate at some point it's going to be inevitable.
Never mind about that. What are we here to do today?
Right, for those of you who have not joined us before, for those of you who have joined us before and forgot, or for those of you who are me and need to tell other people about it in case they themselves forget what they're doing. Last week we had Samus Aran versus Amaya, and Samus won, earning herself her mish, her mash, and her mayhem, and therefore her place in the Mishmash Mayhem Hall of Fame. And that means this week we will have two new competitors joining into the fray. What we're going to do is we're going to introduce both these characters. We're going to go through things like their weapon, their skill sets, their capabilities, a little bit of their background, what they like to do, what they like to have for breakfast, what they like to do first thing in the morning, and whether they like eating crisps before they go into the shower. And then we're going to throw them into a randomly generated, I say randomly generated, I mean all of these are ideas which are written down, but the selection is randomly done, arena, and we're going to see which one we think would win in a fight to the death. As there is no reigning champion, there is no one to inherently introduce first, but would you like to take that mantle today?
Yeah, I can do.
It seems to be tradition that if the victor has retired for now, then the other person will introduce their character first, because normally we introduce the reigning character first.
It does indeed.
So, we'll stick with that. We'll stick with that law.
Okay. So, the clue I gave for this character last time was that Wait. Whoa. Hang on a sec. Wait.
What?
Before we start. We need to introduce ourselves, by the way.
Oh, that's alright, yeah. I knew there was something weird. I knew something didn't feel right when I was trying to introduce my bit. I was like, yeah, something's missing.
So before we go any further, I'm Chris.
And I'm Wade. We digivolved together to form Omnimon.
Yay. Take that, dear Boromon. You shit.
Yeah, thanks Izzy for sending him all that spam mail.
Right, so anyway, the clue I gave last time for my character was that they are a trained surgeon by profession that ended up becoming a powerful wizard in the Marvel Comics universe. And that character is Stephen Strange, aka DoctorStrange.
If he's a surgeon, he's definitely a doctor.
Actually, a lot of surgeons, I mean, I suppose they are doctors, but they don't change their name to doctor. They keep it as Mr. or Mrs. or whatever. I can't remember what the reasoning for that was, but it's just a thing I've learned spending a lot of time at hospitals.
Probably for so people don't go up to surgeons and ask them questions that they should be asking doctors, even though surgeons are doctors. I assume surgeons.
Yeah, surgeons would have had just as much training and stuff. It's just
probably more.
I don't know. Possibly more.
All
yeah.
surgeons must first qualify as doctors, yes. Do surgeons have the title doctor? They become a doctor when they qualify from medical school, and then they revert to a Mr. or Mrs. when they pass surgical exams. But
Often
then,
that is the case, yeah.
yeah, but then some other, whatever.
But anyway, here's Doctor Strange. And shout out to Steve for suggesting Doctor Strange. Fan suggestions always appreciated. You might be wondering to yourself, how did a trained surgeon end up becoming a wizard?
How did a trained professional, is probably what you were trying to say, become a wizard?
Well, he was a very arrogant surgeon, believing himself to be the best at everything and such. And, he was a neurosurgeon, so he was one of those people who's like, yeah, I do brain surgery. I save lives.
It isn't rocket science.
Yeah, but he was in a car crash and suffered severe nerve damage to his hands and therefore couldn't do surgery anymore. So he travelled the world looking for different healing techniques and stuff to try and find something that would fix his hands. And on his travels, he met the Ancient One, who was the Sorcerer Supreme. And he studied under the Ancient One, and he sort of learned, inner enlightenment and became less of an arrogant dick. And he also learned how to do both martial and mystical art.
Which one of those do you think is most important?
I mean, for a wizard, mystical probably.
But in general, not being a dick.
Oh.
It's important not to be a dick, It
is. But that being said, a lot of people who are dicks are quite successful in life, so maybe...
Yeah. Bloody dicks. It's like a giant cock fest out there. Dick swinging contest.
I mean, yeah.
Sorry, I'm disrupting you.
No, it's fine. You carry on dick swinging. Yeah, so he learned how to do magic and how to do martial arts, so it is noted that he is trained in judo and with swords and axes when he fights, and he can use his magic to make said swords and axes appear out of nowhere. He can just conjure weapons. So that's pretty cool. I mean, and also, upon the death of the Ancient One, he was so good that he got the title Sorcerer Supreme because he was by then the best wizard there was, and he was less of an arrogant prick, and he was sort of kind and benevolent. He is now the main defender of Earth against any mystical threat. You might be wondering, what sort of things does he have to help him do that? And like I say, he's trained in judo and has the ability to conjure weapons, but he also has a few interesting, what they're called, relics and artifacts and the such that will help him out. He has Book of the Vishanti, which is an ancient book, which is the greatest known source of white magic. So he's sort of got this book, and it teaches him all different spells and such. And interestingly, there's a counterpart called the Darkhold, which is like the book that contains the most knowledge of black magic. Both of these books are indestructible as a whole, but you can destroy pages from within them. But if you destroy a page in one, it automatically destroys a page in the other, so the balance is maintained in the universe.
So surely you could destroy all the pages, and then you just have an empty book?
Potentially, in theory.
I mean, not that really matters to Doctor Strange. I'm just thinking it's a weird concept to have an indestructible book, but destructible pages.
Yes, I agree with you, it is a bit odd. Yeah, so this book teaches him sort of a few healing spells and a lot of magical counters and stuff to sort of deflect dark magic and the such. Potentially his most famous sort of helpful relic is he has the Cloak of Levitation, which is a big cloak that lets him fly while he's wearing it, because everyone is, I think it's one of the defining things that you think about when you think of Doctor Strange's costume is that he's got a big cape.
Yes, and a beard.
Yeah.
Not that a beard is really part of a costume.
No. He has the Orb of Agamotto, which is he uses. It's basically a crystal ball, and he uses it for scrying, so he can detect magic anywhere in the world and sort of see its exact location it's being used if he wanted to. It can also be used to sort of shield areas from dark magic, and he can use it also to look through disguises and illusions and the such of magical nature. Finally, he has the Eye of Agamotto, which is like a medallion thing he wears around his neck. The eye is a weapon of wisdom that radiates mystical lights that allow him to sort of dispel disguises and illusions. He can use them to track ethereal and corporeal beings via their psychic emissions. The lights it gives off can also weaken a variety of mystical beings, such as demons, devils, undead beings, and dark extra-dimensional entities. It can also sufficiently stop or reduce the power of humans who are using dark magic. He can also use it to probe people's mind and sort of read their thoughts and memories and such. And against sort of weaker foes, it has been known to put them into suspended animation. It can also be used to levitate items or people. It says that it has been used to transport up to 7 megagrams, which is about 15,000 pounds.
7 megagrams.
Yeah.
So that's 7 tons, isn't it?
I'll take your word for it. I don't know.
Wait, hang on. There's 1,000 grams in a kilo.
Yes.
And there's 1,000 kilos in a ton. So that's 10 to the 6. And a mega is times 10 to the 6. So yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so it's been seen to carry like 7 tons, with like no effort. It's just like magic. But yeah, so that's kind of all of Doctor Strange's magical abilities and such. He uses like these various artifacts to sort of do those things. I imagine he probably won't be bringing the orb into battle with him. That could easily just be how he finds the person he's got to kill. He's like, oh, where are they? What? Oh, they're in this crazy location. Let me go over there and find them. Boo, boo, boo.
They're in this crazy location. They will be in a crazy location. Well, I mean, I don't know where they will be. It might be a very normal location.
It might be a very normal location. But I imagine he'd obviously have his cloak of levitation, he'd have his eye of Agamotto. Again, he probably wouldn't bring the book of the Vishanti with him, but I mean, he would know the spells within it and stuff. So he would be able to use like counter spells and such. So yeah, that would be kind of his jam.
What do you reckon is his favourite jam?
Blackcurrant. Like a really, really expensive, pretentious blackcurrant.
Expensive, pretentious blackcurrant. Would you like some of my pretentious blackcurrant jam on your pretentious scone?
I imagine that would be the case certainly before his car accident. I suppose afterwards he'd probably be more humble and had to accept anything he was given.
Humble jam. Humble jam on his...
It'd be one that was homemade by an old monk lady.
Yeah, on a basic scone. Because scone is definitely more upper class saying than scone. It just like, you know, if you imagine at a tea party with like the Queen, you can't imagine the Queen saying, well, pass me your scone, but you can imagine her saying, well, pass me your scone.
So, two people I know were having this debate recently about whether or not it should be scone or scone, and I saw an interesting argument that I'd never considered before about why you should pronounce it scone.
Well, is it because of cone?
Yeah.
And gone.
Yeah, I'd never considered that before, and I was like, oh, yes.
Like, there's... What kind of words are... I'm trying to think of a C word that, you know, put an S on the front, and it doesn't change the pronunciation of the C. Because, you know, like, cone and scone, the O and E is the important part. So I'm trying to think of another example, but I literally can't think of one.
Never mind. So, who was Doctor Strange going to fight against?
Alright, well, I mean, it's a bit of a running theme that I forget my clue. I'm not sure how often you edit it out, but I absolutely forgot my clue, and you tried to tell me what my clue was pre-session rather than looking back through the recording and having a bit to edit out. But I'm absolutely calling you and me out on it because it's hilarious. You just reminded me of my clue pre-show.
But I'd say I didn't try to tell you. I did. I absolutely succeeded. I was like, this
yes,
is
you did tell me, yes. You did tell me, probably in the effort so that you wouldn't have to edit out a bit about you searching for the clue, and now I've done this. I'm not that sorry. Okay, so last time my clue was, it's a racing character with a rank for a name. They love to go fast, and they have a signature move named after themselves. It is, of course, Reginald Beatbox. It's not Reginald Beatbox. Don't know who that is. It's CaptainFalcon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most people will probably be familiar, you know, if they've ever played Nintendo, familiar with CaptainFalcon from Smash Bros. Because no one really plays F-Zero anymore, which is a shame.
Well, it's because they haven't done one since the N64, have they?
They have. There's been like two on... I think there was one on the GameCube, there was one on the GBA. I'm not sure if there was one on the GameCube, but I think there was. There was definitely one on the Game Boy Advance. I'm pretty sure F-Zero GX was on there. They're never going to make one again. Yeah, F-Zero GX was on the GameCube. But they're unlikely to make any new F-Zero games. Anyway, point is, he is from the series F-Zero. Now, it was very hard to find much about the history of CaptainFalcon. I mean, so things I knew before I was researching CaptainFalcon. He was a pilot in the F-Zero races and he was a bounty hunter. Things I know after reading much of the history of CaptainFalcon. He is an F-Zero ex-pilot, an F-Zero pilot, and he is a bounty hunter. So let's see how much we can go through. So he is, as I say, an F-Zero racer. For those of you who don't know what F-Zero is, it's like Formula 1, but faster, because for those of you who also didn't know, there are also like Formula 2 and other Formula levels in racing, and the number simply, the lower the number, the faster the races are. So Formula 2 definitely exists, it's a thing. Formula 1 is real, so that's where F-Zero comes from. Anyway, he competes in these races. Now this is interesting, and I didn't know this. So competes in these F-Zero races amongst up to 30 other competitors, flying around hilariously fast cars and circuits in his car, the Blue Falcon. Why does he like racing so much, you ask? Who really knows? So imagine a world where, this is a fantastic analogy by the way. So you know how like police will often know who a big drug dealer is, but they can't do anything about them because they don't have any solid evidence to put them away. So they have to normally like go undercover and try and pin them for stuff. So imagine that kind of world, but also where those very same people who they know are bad also compete in F-Zero races because they want the prize money to fund their illegal schemes.
Perfectly reasonable.
Perfectly reasonable. So that sets the scene. That is what I've managed to ascertain from all this background check. So not much is known about Captain Falcon's past, other than he is a bounty hunter and he is responsible for catching the Galactic Federation. Some of you might recognise that name. Whether that is actually universal between him and Samus, who knows, because they were both Nintendo characters. Most wanted criminals, and he was one of the best bounty hunters by the age 36. Unfortunately, that is as much history as I have. It was just known that he's called Captain because he was once an officer of the Internova Police Force. But there's really not much known about his past, other than at some point at 30 he became a bounty hunter, and he was a really notorious bounty hunter, and now he competes in F-Zero races specifically to stop bad guys getting the prize money from F-Zero races. It's fantastic. So what does Captain Falcon do? So obviously as a bounty hunter he must be pretty strong, versatile, and be well equipped. Well, as far as we can see from all he ever carries on him, he has a pistol, and that's about it. And you might be thinking, how is a man armed with a pistol gonna capture bountied people? Well, this is where any of you who've played Smash Bros before, and not the F-Zero games, the F-Zero games are not going to help him here, driving a spaceship, should shed some light. He is notoriously fast and powerful with hand-to-hand combat. As mentioned, he has his titular move. In fact, to be honest, most of his moves are named after himself. I think probably because he just loves shouting his name. He has a plethora of close combat abilities which are useful to him in capturing his bounties. All of these, as I say, are derived from the Super Smash Bros. Games because there are no other places to derive them from. But he has his kicks. He can slide across the floor, almost embellishing it in like a trail of slightly energistic burning fire. A Falcon kick, that's what it's called. If he's not already on the floor, instead of sliding across the floor and kicking, he just goes straight down into the floor like a dive kick. On the ground, he's got his signature move, the Falcon Punch.
Falcon Punch!
Falcon Punch! Where he withdraws his fist and concentrates a decent amount of energy into his fist and punches the opponent, which in the Super Smash Bros. Games is one of the most powerful moves in the game. I mean, it's not, because there's Ganondorf who has the more powerful version, but it has horrific knockback and horrific damage, and is it's something you want to stay away from. You don't want to be Falcon Punched.
I sure don't.
You sure don't. Indeed, the power of Falcon Punch is demonstrated in a clip that I shared to ourselves last 2 weeks, where in the anime, there is an anime of F-Zero. I am going to watch it at some point. Now, to be honest, there is a giant explosion in this, and having read the context of the episode, I'm not sure if the explosion is from the Falcon Punch or the exploding evil death machine that they are also in at the time. But what happens is he is driving around the inside of some like crazy death machine with someone else and the main bad guy, and the machine is blowing up because they've thwarted the evil death machine, and he jumps out and he Falcon punches Black Bull, he's the main bad guy, in the face, and then there's a gamma ray explosion which is seen from outside the galaxy, which is absolutely mad.
galaxy explosions are.
Yeah, it like completely obliterates poor Black Ball. Just one punch, which is awesome. Aside from that, he also has like a Falcon kind of uppercut where he just kind of punches people up. And he also has a move where he's able to jump into people in the air, grapple onto them, and then cause a small explosion, giving himself a little bit more height and bouncing them away, which is, quite convenient. As far as this pistol is, I've never seen him use it. I don't think anyone has, so he pretty much doesn't use it.
But it's there in case.
It's there in case, yeah. I don't think I've ever seen him use it. That is, honestly, as much as I could find out about Captain Falcon, there is very little. Probably because he's from a racing game and anime based on a racing game. Notable quotes: "You don't win by being lucky, you win by being bold." Fair enough. Falcon, ... punch. Falcon kick. Those are some of his best quotes.
Yes.
There are more quotes, by the way. I just chose to use the three where it would say Falcon in them, like twice. Well, another one of his quotes is "yes" and "yeah." Like, that's not really a quote, is it? Oh, do you remember that famous time when Captain Falcon said yes? Remember?
Maybe he doesn't usually. Maybe he's usually very disagreeable.
Maybe. Yeah, but then surely the disagreeableness would be the quote. You don't quote people for saying something that, they're forgotten about. Anyway, that's Captain Falcon. He's blue, by the way. Not like his colour, his suit, his gold boots. They're shiny. It is probably worth knowing, yeah. I suppose his outfit is a combination of a flight suit and body armour. So it is, it's somewhat protective because, it has to be protective because if he's in a car accident in a Formula 0 race, you don't wanna die. So, and he is also a bounty hunter. But it is, from the looks of it, fairly regular, like body armor. The kind of stuff you might wear if you were. It's probably like slightly more protective and padded, like racing protective suit.
Yeah.
Probably bulletproof, to be honest. Or at least bullet resistant. It doesn't really say. That's kind of the assumption I'm going on. But yeah.
Okay.
That's
Captain Falcon.
Yes, it is.
So now what we need to do is to find out where these characters are fighting.
We do indeed. What are we going to do to do that?
We're going to roll the die of death. Oh, for fuck's sake.
What?
Today's fight taking place in a hot air balloon.
I love it. Why is that, for fuck's sake?
I don't know. I just felt like we had a really small cramped one last time, and I think last time it all caught fire and exploded, and it's just plausible it might happen again.
It's very plausible, yeah. Hot air balloons are... Oh dear. Alright, okay. Hot air balloon. Obviously we're both imagining that the hot air balloon is in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, how big?
Imagine they would get... It would be one of these things, like sometimes they have in park, like a big park or something, where it's like, hey, you can pay X amount and have it go on a hot air balloon.
I've been in one of those.
Yeah? Well, I imagine it'd be something like that, and they'll both get in and go up in the air, and then be like, "Oh my god, it's you!" Oh,
why not just a real hot air balloon?
What?
Like ones which are just flying across the county.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find how big a basket is. Most of them are...
Not very.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really not big. You wouldn't be able to be socially distant in one, let's put it that way. Like, my room is bigger than a hot air balloon basket.
Crazy.
Don't get me wrong, I have a big room. But you're probably talking no more than 2 by 3 meters for a fairly average hot air balloon basket.
Okay.
It's going to be very up close and personal.
A lovely sunny, warm summer's day. It's a nice hot air balloon. What do you want the hot air balloon to look like? I know it doesn't really matter, but...
Oh, it does. You're right, it doesn't. But what about... see, neither of them are canonically already there, are they?
No.
Which is a shame, because otherwise I'd be like, well, it could be a syringe, or the Blue Falcon, or something. But what about, a pint of beer?
Yeah.
It's bigger than a pint of beer, obviously.
It's a massive Guinness hot air balloon.
Yeah, that'll do. You're welcome for the advertising. Hashtag please sponsor us, good. Yeah, that'll do. A massive pint. People like pints. It's summer.
Yeah, so it's floating along. There's 3 people in the basket. There's pilot, I assume, hot air balloon owner, and 2 paying customers, Captain Falcon and DoctorStrange. And they're all just, they haven't really paid much attention to who the other one is. They haven't clicked that they're supposed to be fighting. They're just enjoying the nice view.
And then, 10 minutes into the trip, Captain Falcon turns around to the pilot and he's like, "Can this go any faster?" Because he loves to go fast.
He does.
And kind of sees, hang about, who's that cloaky, shrifty fellow?
Yeah, and he'd be like, hey, we don't need to go faster. Let's just enjoy the peaceful atmosphere that we've got. because he's very like meditating and such.
Yeah, and then Falcon's like, no, we must go fast.
And then they begin a fight.
Yes, sorry, I was literally just confirming that when he does do his punches and his kickers, it is a flaming falcon that appears around them, which
it is, yeah.
I'm just trying to, there's a difference between, you can put something flammable in front of a fire and it won't necessarily catch fire straight away. Like, I know last time we had the tent, but tents are super thin and flammable, whereas a hot air balloon basket is probably going to be naturally flame retardant. I'd imagine they would treat them to be so, otherwise that would just be foolish.
Probably.
So I don't think that the short-lived flame will necessarily set it on fire. Definitely not the first ones.
I think the issue with the fire is more if it hits the gas canister.
Well, I mean, yeah, but in the same way, you can hold a match against a gas canister and the gas canister won't explode. You have to heat the contents of the gas canister to be a problem, like a lot. And to do that, I would have to be consistent. So I'm just rallying through my head of how much of a problem I think the inevitable fire from Falcon is going to be. And honestly, I'm not sure on a short timescale that it's going to be a huge issue. How is the hot air balloon held to the basket? Like, is it by metal cables or is it by like non-metal cables?
I don't know. I've never been in a hot air balloon.
I mean, like, I think that the canvas fabric of the actual hot air balloon would be bad, but most of that's quite high above the basket. Like there's enough, because the burner is above head height, otherwise people would be burning. Yeah. And then above that is the actual canvas. So I'm just trying to see if I can... Oh, there you go. In modern sport balloons, sure, okay. Nylon fabric and the inlet of the balloon is made from a fire-resistant material such as Nomex. It doesn't tell me about the cables between them. Oh, it looks like they're metal cables or something, which would make sense, really. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I am confident that initially, unless there's like prolonged and consistent Falcon punches and kicks, that they will not be the biggest issue to the integrity of the basket from the flaming falcon aspect alone. I wanted to caveat that because obviously if he falcon punches the side of the basket, that's going to be a problem.
Yes.
Right, but anyway, sorry. Now I've discussed that and I'm ready to debate what would happen. I think CaptainFalcon is probably going to go for his sliding falcon kick across the base of the hot air balloon basket towards DoctorStrange. And it is quite a quick move. He's a speedy boy. Obviously, he yells falcon kick because he's an idiot.
Yeah, I reckon the first one would probably hit DoctorStrange because, he probably isn't expecting him to initially launch into a flaming kick.
Yeah. I mean, DoctorStrange is quite used to super abilitied opponents, isn't he?
Yes, he tends to fight infernal demons and, dark gods and the such.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not necessarily expecting CaptainFalcon to be a speedy boy. As far as he's concerned, he just looks like a race
person. Yeah.
Falcon kick! Falcon kicks across the hot air balloon platform, a fiery falcon erupting from the tip of his boot as he does so. The hot air balloon pilot owner, his hair is singed and he cowers in the corner, and the kick intercepts into DoctorStrange's... Well, I mean, he's going to take out his legs because that's how the kick works. straight into his legs, and probably impart momentum on him in the continued direction, which would be into the basket wall / over. Yeah,
so then DoctorStrange is going to think of a way to retaliate. And like I say, he's well trained in martial arts, so he'll probably now just be like... His opponent isn't magical, so he can't use magical counters or anything to use his own moves against him and the such. Because
that's funny.
What?
That he has a load of magical counters, but they're specifically counters for magic.
Yeah. Most of his white magic moves are countery things, and then he has his amulet is there largely to weaken and dispel dark magic, but he's not fighting dark magic. He's just fighting a guy. Unless you're going to tell me CaptainFalcon is evil, but I'm pretty sure he's a good guy.
CaptainFalcon is not evil. He's a bounty hunter. I mean, you can have evil bounty hunters, but...
So, yeah, that sort of thing. So, a lot of his abilities are very useful in the context he's usually in. And I think, like you say, where he's in a wooden basket being held to fabric, he'd probably have the sense to not bother summoning a sword or an axe.
Yeah.
Just in case. So I think he'd just try and, go into hand-to-hand combat with Captain Falcon from this point on.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose at the end of the day, he's neither of them are going to actively endanger the life of the hot air balloon pilot.
Oh yeah, that too, because that's a bad thing.
If Captain Falcon accidentally kills him through his actions, that'll be annoying, but it won't be the end of the world, because he's a bounty hunter. Although he's good.
Yeah.
If he's trying to kill someone who thinks he's bad, which to him Doctor Strange is, unfortunately so be it. But not that he's going to actively try and do that. Whereas Doctor Strange will probably be like, well, that's a bit pooey. I don't want to do that. But anyway, yeah, so Captain Falcon, Falcon kicks in. Doctor Strange, takes it in the shin. Takes it on the shin. So then you say he's going to go into hand-to-hand. So what's he going to do?
Well, like I say, he's trained in sort of martial arts and he's a proficient judo expert.
Yeah.
So judo is quite a lot of grapples and stuff, I think.
I believe so. One of them is judo, not the one where you try and use your enemy's momentum against them.
Yeah, I think it does a lot of that too. I mean, I don't know for definite. You can tell me if I'm wrong. I get the impression that Captain Falcon is quite a sort of headstrong, very sort of quick to act person.
Yes, I believe so too.
So I imagine Doctor Strange would probably go in with a couple of quick punches or something, just to try and aggravate him more than anything. And then, just try and use his own momentum against him and maybe just try and throw him out the hot air balloon or...
Well, I mean, if he's going for some punches first, then Captain Falcon will have already stopped, at the edge of the balloon. So there won't be any momentum left.
But he's not really going to go in for a few punches to try and damage him. He's going to hit him a couple of times, maybe just to aggravate him more than anything, and then provoke him into an attack.
All right. I mean...
is what I mean.
So he gets Falcon kicked, he can probably get some standard blows in. There's nothing canonically written that says he is really good at close combat, but given his style of fighting in Super Smash Bros. And the fact that he never uses his pistol, it's reasonable to assume that he is fairly good at close combat stuff. Even if he's not necessarily trained in a particular style. I mean, he's probably trained in Falcon style or something. I think that he would be able to do quite a good job of, after kicking in and getting hit once or twice, being able to then, like in the movies when they throw a punch and they block it, and then they throw a punch, the other person throws a punch and they block it, and they just keep blocking each other's punches and stuff.
Yeah.
I reckon he'd be able to do a pretty good job of imitating that and trying to get some punches in himself against Doctor Strange, though not a Falcon punch, because that is a special move, or a special form of his punch, just regular punches.
Okay, but I think even so, once Captain Falcon starts trying to retaliate, Doctor Strange will go back into a much more counter-based fighting style. And we're all just trying to be opportunistic, looking for parries.
Okay, so I think Captain Falcon's quite flashy. So
yeah.
I think he's probably gonna go for a few regular punches and try and probably throw in a swing kick. And he is quite fast, Captain Falcon. But equally, Doctor Strange is also really, as you say, he is a good martial artist, and I believe he's got really. Has he got foresight or something?
He can read his opponent's minds. I was just going to say that, actually. If needs be, he could start trying to read Captain Falcon's mind to try and preempt his attacks and stuff.
I think that Captain Falcon might get a couple of the swift initial punches in on Doctor Strange, but at the end of the day, they are just a couple of punches. The same with anyone just getting punched. But because of the swiftness from Captain Falcon, it's all very well being able to know what someone's going to do, but if they do it very quickly, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. But having said, if you say that he is also really good at these kind of counter and defensive arts, then I think when Falcon starts trying to get flashy, which he absolutely would, I have no doubt in my mind that Captain Falcon would not try and do some kind of swing kick to try and A, not get Doctor Strange in the head, and B, potentially knock him over the edge of the boat, that would be the ideal opportunity for Doctor Strange to counter him.
Yes, definitely. So obviously, the big flashing moves are easier to predict and have more momentum to take advantage of. So that would be the perfect time for Doctor Strange to take advantage.
So what is he going to do to take advantage?
So I imagine Doctor Strange would sort of duck under the initial kick, but then try and from below sort of grab both his legs and like keep him spin him towards the edge of the hot air balloon behind him.
What? I mean, how is he going to grab both his legs if he ducks under that leg? That leg is like still in the air.
I don't know, I think it would be relatively easy.
But the leg's like swinging out of his reach. I'm not saying Doctor Strange is not capable of grabbing his stationary leg. I'm saying that, you know, Falcon's quite fast in swinging. I don't think it's necessarily plausible for him to grab the leg that's already swung by him.
Alright then. But he would try and grab Captain Falcon in such a way, maybe more like round the middle or something. I don't know. He'd sort of dodge the attack and then grab him in such a way he could spin him back.
I'm trying to think in my mind what the best way of that him doing that is. Because hypothetically all the momentum's going clockwise, right? So if he wants to throw him with his momentum, he needs to push him more clockwise.
Yeah.
But if he's ducked the attack and is at the other leg, then the only thing he's going to really do, you can't really push him back. I think his best...
When I say push him back, I mean sort of to behind where he currently is at the moment. He would do it by spinning him round forwards.
All right, okay, I've got this. It's taken me a while to wrap my head around the best way, but I think I've got it. So he ducks under the kick, right?
Yeah.
And Falcon's still spinning. So
yeah.
He gets up and then grabs the trailing arm, or not the trailing arm, the leading arm of the kick. Because by this time, you know, Captain Falcon's got to do a full 360, right? So if he starts, call it 9 o'clock, and Doctor Strange is at 12 o'clock, then his arms are at 6 and 12. So he starts and he dodges the kick at 12. He goes under, he comes back up, and now one of the arms is already coming back around. So he can grab that elbow, or arm, however it is, then step beyond the centre of axis of Captain Falcon around his back in that safe zone, and throw and pull Captain Falcon in the way he's already spinning to throw him beyond, or, you know, back the way that he originally came from.
Yeah, or at least to like knock him off balance or something. So he can then push him forward.
Yeah,
or...
duck, gets back up and quickly grabs the follow through arm coming through, uses the momentum against Captain Falcon and swings him, and, you know, like pulls past his he moves past the center of Captain Falcon's spin and pulls him further. I'm just wondering whether he would like is he just trying to gain distance from this, or is he trying to ground him as well?
He's trying to get Captain Falcon up against the edge of the hot air balloon basket.
Right. Captain Falcon is going to have enough momentum and the basket is small enough that even if he swings him back the way that Captain Falcon originally came from, Captain Falcon would stumble into that side of the basket. Mm-hmm. You know, Doctor Strange pulls off this Wizard Sick dodge and throw combo. Captain Falcon gets swung with his full regular kicking momentum into the side of the thing. But he isn't like thrown per se. I don't mean thrown in the like way you throw a pencil across your room.
He's more pushed.
Well, yeah, he's more directed. So he's still upright, but you know, like when you trip up and you take like 5 steps forward and then you catch yourself. He does that, but he catches himself on the side of a hot air balloon basket rather than before his tripping stops. So he kind of like stumbles into the side of the hot air balloon basket, back where he originally was. And now Doctor Strange is obviously a little bit more central in the hot air balloon basket. And the owner now goes to cower in the other. It's important to remember him.
Yes.
Because he wants to be in a corner the furthest away from people. At this point, so Doctor Strange is just like thrown, and Captain Falcon just goes boof into the side of the basket. So Doctor Strange definitely has the initiative at this instance.
So yeah, like I say, he'd now try and, whilst Captain Falcon is sort of staggered, so to speak, he'd just try and like flip him out the basket, push him over the edge. Because Captain Falcon cannot fly, as far as I'm aware, and thus would fall to his death, and it would be the easiest way to win the fight.
He cannot fly, no. He is capable of double jumping and recovering, but we'll get to that when that happens. So Doctor Strange leaps forward towards Captain Falcon and gets to him just as he's kind of regaining his composure and manages to... Well, I mean, so Captain Falcon definitely would have had his arms on the side of the basket because he's just been like buffeted against it and is probably in the progress of swinging round to get ready. But at this point, Doctor Strange is at his legs and grabs his legs and tries to like just fling him straight over.
Yeah.
I mean, I think probably if Captain Falcon like knows that that's... Well, obviously he can feel his legs getting thrown over. There's probably not much he can do to... I mean, obviously, you know, if you can try and throw someone over a basket. I don't know if you've ever tried to throw someone over a wall, but they can definitely resist quite a fair amount.
He'll sort of grab hold and try and hold on to the edge.
Yeah, I mean, you've got quite a lot of core strength as well that you can use to stop them from lifting your legs, you know, by trying to force them down. So, you know, I think as Doctor Strange is lifting, I say lifting as if he's lifting like a strong, but, you know, like in the effort of trying to move his legs up, can probably twist his body round, at least free one of his legs and just like kick Doctor Strange like in the face as he twists his body round.
Yeah.
So because he was like facing the basket, so Doctor Strange like picks him up. He can feel it. He like gives a full blown kind of flick twist and releases one of his legs and manages to kick Doctor Strange. So he's probably like kind of horizontal-ish, and gives him a roundhouse kick to the face. And would probably try and carry on. I mean, he's definitely an agile man.
Yes.
I would think he would be perfectly capable of what I imagine him trying to do is carry on like a spinning move where he can move his hands along the side of the basket just so he's out of Doctor Strange's grasp in a very gymnastic style.
Makes sense. So yeah, I think he'd hit Doctor Strange because, you know, he wouldn't necessarily be able to do much about that, and, you know, which would sort of push him back a bit, and then I guess allow Captain Falcon to regain his uprightness.
Yeah.
And then I guess they'd just resume trading blows.
Yeah, so I mean, well, I think if he's managed to, you know, like spin, I'm going to call it spin shuffling because it sounds really cool, spin shuffle his way and give Doctor Strange a kick to the point where he's escaped his grasp, and he's now like scuffled along a bit into more of a corner of the thing, and Doctor Strange looks like he's momentarily just like, you know, he's just lost him, so he's got a... I don't mean lost him as in, where are you in this tiny hot air balloon? I mean like as in, oh, I've just let go of him, I need to bring myself back up to, you know, going towards him. I think Captain Falcon might even try a Falcon punch, to be honest, which obviously does take a reasonable amount of charge time, because I believe it goes something along the lines of Falcon punch, and it's only on the punch that it actually punches. Well, the rest of that time is him thinking, if he's going to come at me, by the time he gets into me, even if he's, you know, like grabbing me, I'll be able to Falcon punch him with the full force of my Falcon punch by the time he gets next to me.
Yes.
That being his
I
logic.
agree. Because I think essentially he'd try and do the same thing again, just try and like counter one of his attacks to gain a advantage, but he wouldn't try and throw Captain Falcon over the edge anymore. I imagine what his end game would be to try and do instead would be to try and get hold of Captain Falcon into some sort of grapple.
Okay.
Because then he can levitate, right? Because he can fly with his cloak of levitation. So he can just himself leave the like hot air balloon basket and then just drop him.
Doesn't he have like the ability to make portals or something? I don't remember from the films. Or was that not a thing?
He did in the film. I did.
I mean, if that's not the version you're bringing in, then that's fine. I'm just curious, that's all.
Yeah, I did read about it this morning. It was one of his artifacts lets him do it. So yeah, I mean, he can just do things like that. He can make them portals to other dimensions. So it's basically he could try and teleport Captain Falcon to another dimension.
Okay.
I mean, that would...
Yeah, okay. So because we know that Doctor Strange can read minds, so I don't think he's stupid enough to, as Captain Falcon would have wished, to go up to Captain Falcon and receive the Falcon punch, because he's going to know...
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, no, he's not going to do that. And he would probably even know that it's not the kind of thing that you can necessarily like counter by grabbing. I imagine with a Falcon punch that the kind of flaming falcon that comes out is also some of the force deliverer. I mean, there's no way of me for checking that, but it's kind of what I imagine. You know, it's not as if he can avoid the end of the fist and grab the arm and then do something. There would be like a bigger area of impact. So he's not even going to bother getting near Captain Falcon. So if he's thinking about using portals, now you're thinking with portals, do you reckon he would retreat back to the basket, knowing that Captain Falcon can do these fast kick maneuvers, readying himself into almost a trap?
Yeah, he certainly could do... Well, even where a Falcon punch takes a while to charge up, he could even just make the portal in front as he releases his punch.
I mean, I'm not sure the punch is like, it's not like a 5-second charge up. It's like Falcon punch. It's like that long. But don't get me wrong, it's a long time in Super Smash Bros, but it's not. I reckon he'd be more likely to go back to the wall and then prepare to.
Okay. And then he'll be like, well, with his next attack, I can drop him in a portal.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking just, if he's going to come at me again quickly, which he probably is, like, if he runs at me normally, I could just kind of use my martial arts training to try and throw him over the edge. And if he uses that super quick kick thing, then I just go portal evade.
Yep, and then he's in another dimension somewhere.
Yeah, that would be what I would imagine Doctor Strange would probably do in that situation.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
So he'd retreat back, let Falcon do a punch, and then have a portal ready for his next attack.
Yeah. So Falcon Punch unleashes this Falcon Punch. He's sad that Doctor Strange didn't come in and he's gone back a bit. And we've already discussed that we both think he's quite a quick to act. I'm not saying he's not intelligent. I'm just saying he's not necessarily strategic.
He's a hothead.
Yeah. So he'd probably just go, okay, let's get into this, and go for one of his Falcon kicks again. And as he's already grounded, he would just slide very quickly across the floor towards Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Falcon kick.
And then Doctor Strange would make a portal to another dimension, and Captain Falcon will Falcon kick right through it.
Yeah, I imagine it in my mind. Look, like he can read his mind. He's about to do it, so he just quickly conjures up, like starts conjuring up a portal behind him, and then just sidesteps out the way just as Captain Falcon initiates his Falcon kick, because he can get a gauge on what he's going to do. And then just sidesteps out the way, and Captain Falcon sails through this portal.
Yes.
But he isn't actually sailing, he's Falcon kicking.
And he'd send him to Dormammu's, like, universe, because that's, like, kind of like hell.
Fun. I love being in hell.
It's full of evil and destruction. And then they'd close the portal and then, be done with it.
Yeah, and I mean, regardless of how long Captain Falcon survives in the Fun Demon realm, which would probably be somewhere between 10 minutes and 2 hours, depending on how lucky he gets, he's no longer part of the combat here.
So Doctor Strange wins.
Doctor Strange wins indeed. And there was no significant damage done to the hot air balloon.
Woo.
Success. Had this been a previous combatant, they probably would both be on the ground by now.
Well, yeah.
What's that? Bombs, you say? Well, yeah, I mean, I think Doctor Strange would probably always have won that fight.
Probably, yes.
I don't think there was ever going to be much Captain Falcon could do. But given that Doctor Strange was, whether it was because they were in a tiny confined space or because Captain Falcon isn't magical, there weren't a huge array of spells at his disposal. I suppose probably because it was quite close quarters, so he never would have had time to, use them effectively without being interrupted.
Yeah.
But that was interesting because it threw Doctor Strange into a more martial arty style, which I would not have associated with Doctor Strange until you told me that he had those things. I just thought he was a portal wizard.
I mean, yeah, he sort of primarily uses magic, but then he is sort of trained in fighting as well if needs be. But I mean, I guess that's because most superheroes at some point have a fight, don't they?
Yeah, of course they do. But yeah, and then managed to just be like, well, I don't... Like, this guy's, he's fairly competitive level on me with this hot air balloon. I've tried throwing him out of the hot air balloon, and I can tell it's going to be difficult. And honestly, even if he had thrown him out of the hot air balloon once, like, Captain Falcon probably would have been able to recover back in with his cool moves. So he was just like, fuck it, I don't need you in this hot air balloon. Just get you out of here. Go on with it.
That's it.
Okay. So this character is a fan suggestion.
Really?
And is from the Marvel universe, I think.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
And there's I think it's a beer that shares their name. But it might be a cider.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a beer. It is a beer.
There is also a cider.
Oh yeah, I think it's a company.
In fact, no, it is a cider. There isn't a beer.
Oh. Really?
Yeah, the company is Thatcher's. So yeah, there's a cider named after, well, not named after this character, but that shares its name with this character. That's my clue. So it'll be like a real superhero fight, a Marvel versus a Marvel.
Absolutely, it's exciting.
It'll be the least mish ever in the way that they're both from the same kind of place.
They actually fought before, yeah.
Yeah.
That's our episode for today. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Feel free to contact us over on the Twitter at podcastmmm if you want to tell us how you thought that fight would have gone, or if you want to suggest future characters or arenas for fights to take place in, because obviously Doctor Strange was a fan suggestion. Shout out to Steve again for suggesting that. And we have a fan suggestion joining him next week, which is exciting. Also, if you want to contact us, you can do it at our email address, podcastmmm@tinkertailorsoldiersponge.com. We enjoy hearing from you. It is nice. Any final thoughts, Mr. Wade?
Alright, so I'm currently reading this book, right? And it's part of a trilogy of books, and each book has about 1,200 pages. So I am about 100 pages away from the end of this book now, away from the end of the last book. And there's still no resolution in sight. I don't know. I know. Aisha and Mikey have both read it. I can't remember if Wilko has. And I was like, I'm so close to the end, and there's no resolution in sight. This is either going to be absolutely amazing or absolutely awful. And Aisha was like, it's really good, trust me. And I was like, okay. And I'm getting close every time I turn a page, and they're no closer to a resolution. I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? I need to know. That's my final thought. We will catch you next time.
Bye.
Catch you all late.
Join Tom and Rob for your essential fortnightly dip into the world of British and American politics. We read all the boring stuff, so you don't have to.
And I also like to think that our kind of characteristic banter adds to the show. I ask Rob most of the questions, and Rob provides the insights, don't you, Rob?
Yes, I do, and I just tend to witter on and 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 on over you. But that's fine, because people listen to it for me.
Good evening and welcome to the bar. Join Dr. Wilko as he investigates the histories of your favourite spirits and your favourite cocktails while mixing you a drink at the bar. The other bars may be closed, but a podcast bar will always remain open.